How do you find inspiration for your writing?
Well, a lot of my inspiration comes from conversations I have every day and social observations I make. Obviously those conversations are largely with non-Indigenous people who have a whole range of things to say about Aboriginal identity, and I guess I'm inspired by those conversations to try and make change in terms of the way we are defined in the greater community as Aboriginal Australians, or as, half caste or part Aboriginal Australians. So because we don't actually identify as half caste or part Aboriginal. It's actually a Western set of language that's used for us that Westerners don't use for themselves. They don't say I'm half-caste Australian or I'm part Australian because they have some other heritage. And so I'm inspired by this whole language that's been created about us that Westerners don't use for themselves. And so I use that to fuel, storylines and dialogue in my work as well.
You come from a strong Aboriginal family. How does that influence your work?
I come from a very close-knit family as well, and it's interesting, when I was young, my parents didn't sit me down and instill in us this sense of Aboriginal politics or Aboriginal identity. It was just sort of a given. We didn't sit around and talk about it. What they did instill in us was a very strong work ethic. Both my parents had very strong work ethics that drove them almost to exhaustion. And they instilled in us a sense of always, being strong in your conviction and standing up for what you believe in, and also teaching us the difference between right and wrong and good and bad. So the influence of all that in terms of what I do today is, I think, I want to use my work to stand up and make a change for the things that I believe need to be changed. And essentially I think I know the difference between good and bad, and everything I do in my personal life, work life, is actually fueled by who I am as an Aboriginal woman. And I think the support that I get from my family is probably the most essential element in making that possible for me to do.